How's it going, everyone? I'm NotBae, and I am bringing you a game analysis that will hopefully help you get better at Smash. This analysis will focus on reading and predicting your opponent's movements and attacks and how to properly punish and counterattack. Before we get into the game, there are a couple things I want to address. First, this is not meant to be an end-all be-all guide to the topic. Rather, this is a look into my mind and how I analyze the game when I play. Second, this guide will assume you know basic Smash terminology and how the game works, so if you are struggling to understand what I'm saying, I would highly recommend you check out Izaw's channel and his Art of Smash Ultimate series to learn a bit more about competitive Smash, and then watch this video. I will link all of that down in the description below. And with that out of the way, let's get into the game. Okay, so right off the bat, the game puts us in a situation where we can potentially predict our opponent and possibly get the first hit in. So it is a common practice, especially on Battlefield, to drop below the platform to get onto the main stage because that's where neutral is usually played. So predicting this, I, as a Dr. Mario, am going to try and throw a projectile to where I think my opponent is going to be. So I was correct. He decided to drop below the platform, and while my projectile didn't land, it didn't successfully hit him, it at least put a little bit of pressure and forced him to throw out a projectile to counter it. Okay, so here we have another situation where I am in shield and my opponent is looking right at me. So there are a couple options that my opponent can do. He can either grab me, throw out an attack, or just get away and try and reset neutral. I predict him to either throw out an attack or a grab because he has yet to throw out a grab. So from here, I am actually going to spot dodge and just to see what he's going to do and potentially use that as information later. So what you're going to notice and what I'm saying is that a lot of the early game is just gathering information on my opponent, trying to figure out how my opponent plays the game and what I think he's going to do. So for this instance, this is very important information to know how he's trying to get out of my combo. So after I do my up throw to up air, which is a true combo, he decides to jump out. This is pretty important because this gives me a little bit of information as to how he likes to get out of combos. So I know now that one of his options that he likes is to jump out of my combo. So that gives me a free time to take stage back and potentially punish his land. Okay, we are in the situation where our opponent missed the tech and we now have to predict and read his get up option. So there are a couple options he has available to him. He can either get up attack, neutral get up, roll to the right, or roll to the left. So this is a scenario where you don't necessarily need to predict because Cloud's get up animations are slow enough where you can actually react to whatever option he does and then punish accordingly. So right here he's actually going to roll to the left and I jump, force him to choose some kind of get up option and then my punish. Okay, so this is a perfect example of taking information you learned earlier in the game and using it to assess the situation. Right here we have shield up and our opponent just rolled behind us. Pretty similar situation to something we saw earlier in the game. Last time the Cloud threw out an attack, so I predict him to do the same thing this time and I will stay in my shield. I'm not scared of him grabbing me because he hasn't thrown a grab yet, and even if he does, the damage taken will be minimal compared to the limit, cross slash, or a smash attack. So I will stay in my shield and punish accordingly. Okay, so right here, even though I didn't go over it the first time, but this is actually the second time this game that the Cloud missed the cross slash or threw out a cross slash and then immediately followed up with an up B afterwards. This kind of stuff is common in players that are relatively low level. They tend to do the same option over and over and over again and not mixing up their options. So I will keep this in mind next time he uses the cross slash on me. If I shield it or if I run away from it, I will know that he will follow up with an up B. We kind of have more of the same here. This guy decided to roll behind me and then throw out an attack. It's again similar to what we've seen so far in this video. So I kind of have a good feel of how this guy's going to play. So I predict him to throw out an attack, like an up B or an up smash, and then just get out of the way and punish him accordingly. So here, again, we have another situation. I am in shield and my opponent just rolled behind me. Knowing my opponent and the other 2 times that he's done this, he's going to throw out an attack, and this is just basically knowing my character and knowing that I have an attack out of shield that will be strong enough and fast enough to punish him before he does anything. So I will up smash out of shield and take the first stock. Just gathering more information here, and this is actually very important. I noticed how he reacts when he whiffs a move. So essentially what he does here is he whiffs the cross slash and then immediately rolls behind me. So knowing that, this is just good information for me to take in later, and so when I see this again, I will know how to punish. Again, same thing, he decides to roll behind me and try and up B out of shield, and I essentially will just get out of the way and reset neutral and try and find another way in. This, again, is something that, since I've seen it before, I kind of see it coming, and these are the kind of things that you should be noticing against your opponent while playing and trying to predict and punish. We have seen this before. He whiffs an attack, and knowing my opponent, he is probably going to roll in. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to approach him. I'm going to wait for him to roll and then immediately punish afterwards. I didn't get much out of it because I'm bad and I messed up the combo, but this is the kind of thing that I'm keeping in mind. Again, same thing here. He whiffs a move and he rolls behind me. I actually predicted him to roll back, so that's why I kept on running. Even though it messed up, like nothing came out of it, I still had the right idea in trying to punish. And here he SDs, there's nothing really I can say about it, he just SDs, it was kind of a bad option. Okay, so where have we seen this before? He misses the cross slash, and what do I think he's going to do? He's going to roll, and so I stay in my shield. I know he's going to throw out an attack as soon as he rolls. He up B's out of shield, I stay in my shield, and then I punish accordingly. So at this point, we're far enough in the game where I kind of had this guy locked down in terms of how I know he's going to play, and so at this point it's just a chess match where I know every move that he's going to make. So this is actually a perfect example of something that we saw earlier. We noticed that the first time I got him in a combo, he tried to jump out of my combo to avoid any further damage. He does the same thing here, and even though I miss the read, I at least predicted him correctly, and I know that's the option that he's going to go for. So this is kind of how I think when I play. Essentially, I am trying to understand how my opponent plays and what weaknesses he or she may have that I can exploit. In this game, I noticed that my opponent never grabs, so my shield became a very, very safe option. Keep in mind though that if my opponent did grab and did mix up his options a lot more, I would definitely have to play this match a lot differently and a lot safer. So to end the video off, we have another situation where he rolls, I have my shield up, I'm going to just take the hit, he's going to roll, and then I punish. And now we've reached the end of the video, so to recap, here are some takeaways and final words of advice on the topic. First, use the initial moments of the game to gather information on your opponent's game plan. It's okay to take damage because you are still learning how to get around your opponent's tactics and try to find some patterns and things that your opponents never stray away from, and then use that information and punish accordingly. Second, this is a general guide and should be interpreted as such. The things that I covered serve to offer a basic understanding of how to predict and read your opponents. If you are looking for a more advanced guide, more specifically how to maintain neutral, how to condition, all that good jazz, you're going to have to look elsewhere because this video is not going to be for you. Third, you gotta mix up your options and stay unpredictable. It was easy for me to 3-stock this guy, not because of my tech skill or anything like that, but because he did the exact same options over and over and over again and never deviated away from it. It's okay to like a specific option out of shield or how to recover, just make sure that you mix it up to prevent your opponents from catching onto your tactics and being too predictable. And as with anything in life, the tips and tricks I've showcased will not benefit you at all unless you practice. Rematching your opponents when you lose, or even just saying what you're thinking out loud, will help you develop a mindset for reads and predictions. If you practice and work at it, you will see positive results. I played this guy online and took what I know to 3-stocked him. While he wasn't a great player, he absolutely would have made the game a lot closer if I didn't recognize his tendencies. And this brings us to the end of the video, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this kind of video or would like to see more, let me know by leaving a like, and I'll definitely do more game analyses if I get enough support. If you didn't like it, also let me know with a dislike or a comment below so I know how I can improve. I make montages and stream Smash Bros. And other games, so if you're interested in any of that jazz, subscribe to me to say more. That's all I have for now, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.